Sentence 6 has the same structure as sentence 5 with the addition of an appositive, 동격. An appositive is a noun or noun phrase that renames the noun before it to provide more information about the noun. So both Bill and her brother refer to the same person. So in sentence 6, our subject is she, the verb is knows, and the full object is the zero that clause. Bill, her brother, killed Desu. When an appositive is used in a sentence, it is marked with commas before and after it. Here are the two previous examples with appositives added. John thinks Beth, his assistant, lied about her age. Beth believes John, her boss, was a spy. Now we'll look at type 4 sentences. Like a type 3 sentence, a type 4 sentence contains a direct object, but it additionally contains an indirect object. 간접 목적어. An indirect object is a noun or a noun phrase that is affected in some way by the action of the sentence's main verb. For example, the recipient of the gift in I gave him a gift. In sentence 7, I told her that he had killed Desu. Told is our verb, and we have 3 different noun parts to mark. I as the subject, 1. That he had killed Desu as the direct object, 4. And her as the indirect object, with a 3. Now we'll move on to type 5 sentences. A type 5 sentence has the basic structure of subject, verb, direct object, and complement. This sentence type can have one of 5 different complements: an adjective, a noun, an infinitive phrase, a bare infinitive phrase, or a present participle phrase with an ing verb. I'll give examples of each. First, let's look at sentences with adjective and noun complements. The traffic jam made me late. Winning the lottery made me a rich man. The first sentence with the adjective complement indicates that the subject changed the condition or status. In other words, the object, me, is now late. The second sentence with the noun complement indicates that the subject changed the object's form. In other words, the object, me, is now a rich man. Note that the verb used with adjective and noun complements in these type 5 sentences is almost always make. Now let's look at sentences with infinitive and bare infinitive complements. The photographer told me to smile. The teacher let me copy her notes. The strong coffee enabled me to stay awake. The truck's weight made the bridge collapse. We saw the ship sink. When the complement for a type 5 sentence is an infinitive phrase or a bare infinitive phrase, the subject is doing one of four things. First, requesting an action from the object. For example, the verbs ask, order, tell. Second, allowing or making it possible for the object to perform an action. For example, the verbs let, permit, enable. Third, causing the subject to perform an action. For example, the verbs make, have, force. Or finally, perceiving an action that the object performs. For example, the verbs see, watch, hear, feel. An important thing to learn for type 5 sentences is which verbs should be followed by a to infinitive and which verbs should be followed by a bare infinitive. The verbs make, let, and have take bare infinitives, as do the verbs of perception, such as see and hear. The verbs of perception are also used with the final complement type, the present participle, or an ing verb. Compare the last sentence, which uses a bare infinitive after a verb of perception, with a sentence that uses a present participle after a verb of perception. So, we saw the ship sink, and we saw the ship sinking. The meaning of these two sentences is very similar. However, the bare infinitive may be used to indicate that the perceived action ended, while the present participle may be used to show that the perceived action was ongoing. Let's analyze sentence 8. I asked him to kill Desu. The complement is an infinitive phrase type, and the subject I asked as the verb, him as the object, and the complement to kill Desu. The subject is requesting action from the object. When the subject requests an action from the object, we can consider that action optional. In other words, the object has a choice of whether to perform or not perform the action. Now take a look at sentence 9. I made him kill Desu. I is our subject. Made is our verb. Him is our object. And kill Desu is our complement. The complement is a bare infinitive phrase, and the subject is causing the object to perform an action. When the subject causes the object to perform an action, we can consider the action mandatory. In other words, the object has no choice about performing the action. You can see this clearly in the sentence, "When made the balloon pop." It is clear that the object balloon cannot choose the action of popping. The action is caused by the subject.